Hello, class, and welcome to our presentation, the Bhagavad-Gita, a brief introduction. So let's do a little recap first. So in previous lectures, we discussed that we were going to, in our approach to Hinduism, study 5 major Hindu texts. We started with the Vedas in the early Vedic period, and then we talked about the teachings within the Upanishads of the later Vedic period. And now here we find ourselves in the third major sacred text in the Hindu tradition, the Bhagavad-Gita, which was written during the later Vedic period, but is seen as kind of a transition between the later Vedic period and post-classical Hinduism. So what is the Bhagavad-Gita? So the Bhagavad-Gita in Sanskrit literally means the Song of the Blessed Lord. And it is a famous Smriti text composed during the later Vedic period containing the spiritual teachings of Lord Krishna. And it is part of the larger war epic called the Mahabharata. And like the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita is concerned with the goal of moksha, or release from the cycle of reincarnation. And although there are many similarities between the teachings in the Gita and the Upanishads, there is one key difference between them. And it would be the following. Whereas the Upanishads preach a doctrine of salvation attainable by Brahmins, wealthy Kshatriya, and world renouncers, the Bhagavad Gita preaches a doctrine of salvation for everybody. That is, in the later Vedic period, it can be argued that only priests, nobles, and monks had the time, energy, and resources to study the Upanishads and practice meditation. So it seemed that moksha in this lifetime was only available to what we might call the elite in society. In the Bhagavad Gita, however, Lord Krishna teaches that all people have the potential to attain moksha in this lifetime, regardless of their caste status. Thus, the Bhagavad Gita has a more what we might call egalitarian view of salvation in comparison with the teachings in the Upanishads. So what is the setting of the Bhagavad Gita? So the Bhagavad Gita takes place during the war of the Mahabharata, a conflict between two ruling families who are cousins or they're related to one another. And it would be the Kaurava and the Pandava. Now, for the sake of keeping things simple, we'll just refer to the Kaurava as the bad guys and the Pandava as the good guys in the Mahabharata conflict. Now, although the reasons for the conflict between them is complicated, just know that the Kaurava allegedly stole an ancient kingdom from the Pandava, and the Pandava declare war upon the Kaurava to gain it back. Now, there are two main characters on the side of the Pandava family. Prince Arjuna, who is, well, a Pandava prince, and Lord Krishna, who is Arjuna's advisor and chariot driver. And when the Bhagavad Gita begins, Arjuna and Krishna find themselves on a great battlefield. And from there, the story of the Gita unfolds. All right, so now that you have some foundation with this presentation, start the reading and begin to prepare your threads for this week's discussion forum.